I've been cruising LinkedIn, Cormac,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
I have to say one of the types of posts that I see uh, often. Well, what's the job landscape out there? I have lots of the types of posts that I see often on LinkedIn. One of them is like, I'm excited to announce that I've accepted a new, I'm doing this new thing. And then, then there's these other ones that I want to talk about. But what
I'm
is the
gonna.
current job landscape out there in architecture, and not specifically to LinkedIn, but you're working in a firm. What's it like?
We're working in a firm who is constantly looking for new talent, constantly hiring.
And it's just you guys though, right? It's just you.
No.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how my personal email is flooded with all sorts of like job postings. Then I get, just because I'm signed up for architecture newspaper,
Mm.
I always get their job postings. Then, of course, the AIA National and then the AIA, my local chapter, all of them send emails for job postings.
And then there's like LinkedIn recommending this job for you at some like marketing firm in Newport Beach.
And then and then I get LinkedIn once, and it's interesting because, well, it's not interesting because I'm living the reason why everybody's looking for stuff, because there's just we've sort of talked about this in the past, that we we all hit the COVID wall. A lot of people saw projects kind of slowly withering away. Some firms dealt with it by going after new work. Some of them dealt with it by, say, laying people off, or maybe not giving out bonuses and things like that. I've heard about that. It's like, well, we can keep your job, but you just won't get any bonuses. And so I've heard of all sorts of different ways that, people were trying to stay afloat during the 2 years. So I'll give you an example of what we do. So we had a lot of projects, because we do higher ed, we had a lot of projects go on the shelf.
In these uncertain times.
Makes perfect sense. If you don't have students at your university in these uncertain times, they need, they need to slow down and reset a little bit. So what is a company to do? Go out and look for more work. Okay, so now you've started to bring in, more work, different work from different sources, still, amongst your, like for us, still within the higher ed realm. Some of it might be the, P3 type work with developers. Some of it could just be international, which is, like the project that I'm working. So fast forward to when, people are starting to feel more comfortable with the climate and starting to look at the projects that they put on the shelves, they start coming off the shelves. So now you have, and they're coming back to you, knocking on the door. Hey, can you? We're ready to start this project. Can you like gear up in 3 weeks? I mean, what is the one thing that architects can't say?
Yeah. Let me think about that two-word answer, that two-letter answer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Right.
And so of course now you're in the position, and this is in a lot of firms, you're in the position of having too much work.
Especially when you just go through a famine. You go through the famine,
Yeah.
and you're like, we're never going to famine again. We're only going to feast
Exactly.
from now on because
Exactly.
survival.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And so a lot of people are in the position, a lot of firms, a lot of people that I know are in the position of, now, what does that do? That creates the buyer's market.
Yes, exactly. And that leads to the type of job post that or the type of post isn't it funny how like it's so cookie cutter though?
Oh my gosh.
It's just like, I'm happy to announce, I'm so pleased to announce. It's all the same thing. It's just like a variation, a slight variation, but it's this cheesy little illustration with balloons and stuff.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty focused on the architectural network on LinkedIn. I can't even imagine beyond that.
True.
It's got to be an enormous issue.
Well, I mean, we obviously know. Well, okay, so let's talk about so we were talking specifically about the architectural climate. My wife being a school teacher, I'm sure you have heard, because the news is just ravaged with it right now, of all of the different school districts across the country who are reporting things like 400 to like 4,000 teachers and staff shortages. How, not making this a conversation about teaching positions and not job shortages. There's no job shortages. There's candidate shortages.
People shortages, yeah.
Because people are realizing after the abomination of what happened to them in the past 2 years. The reason I'm bringing up the way that the teachers were treated, the way that they just weren't ready for the type of teaching that they would be doing and everything else. I bring it up because that is the climate, or that was the climate, or still sort of is the climate of the architectural community. I mean, we're
just faster to adapt, though.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot, about how quick they are to adapt, and how innovative they are, right?
Oh yeah. First words I think of when I think of architects.
Leaders, not followers.
Right.
So the issue is that now we see, and we've seen it with our firm, we've seen it with other people. Our firm has been somewhat adapted to the remote working because we do so many projects outside of our home base area. So outside of Baltimore, we do a lot of work. So, we are pretty mobile. Now we know that people are looking to be mobile at firms. It's just like, oh, now I'm working or now I'm living in Detroit, working for a firm in Baltimore. And so let's just use me for an example. What if I were to look for another job, and I started to go hint around at all of these people, and just look, the freedom that
how many jobs can you hit with a stone from your house?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's the funny thing is I'm, like I said, I'm getting all of these emails from all of these different job posting type places. Some are here, some are still back in Maryland. It's just interesting, because in our profession, there are so many people hiring. And when I see 2 weeks go by and I see another posting for just some firm X is hiring now. Firm X is hiring 2 weeks from now. They're not the same, posting. They're looking for more people. They're looking for younger people.
So they are filling roles, but there's even more roles.
They're filling roles. There's just more roles.
I heard something from the firm that I was at through a little birdie that there was something like 25% new staff.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine just the whole onboarding management process of that and how expensive that is?
I would say in the past 2 years, we've actually grown in the past 2 years. Whereas, the pre-COVID area, we were kind of down, and we had I think it's maybe 135, 140. Now we're at 200. And that, that's, and, of
that's
that,
over 30%.
There's people who have left.
I did fast with the maths.
Awesome. And so 30% of new people at ASG. And, yes, you are absolutely right. And the thing about it is that we are still not back in the office. We're still, there are some people in the office, some people who aren't in the office, and the large majority are spending most of their time still working from home. How hard is it to onboard people? How hard is it to do all of this stuff when most of your staff that aren't there? So,
well, I wanted to kind of talk about strategies for job listings because they're so bad. They're so here's what I see more often than not. And again, this is pretty much just on LinkedIn. I don't know where else you would look for this because people are just trying to help the company with their social media presence and their following. But it's it seriously is this bad. Ready? It's I'm hiring. Know anybody interested? That's it. What? How? what's the role? What's your company like? What's your culture? There's so many questions. Holy crap. Know anyone interested is the question. It's like, interested in what? Like, and I don't know what they're trying to accomplish with this other than maybe some kind of brownie point with the HR group in their firm who says, hey, look they're trying to help. Because that is not helpful at all, is it?
No. Like, hey, who are you?
It's like, LOL, how stupid is this posting? I want, what is the deal? And I see that a lot. And the other one that we've seen in like the actual job postings over the years that is just absolutely hilarious, because when you think about the reality of the situation is when it becomes funny, right? It's must be willing to work in a fast-paced and exciting environment, right? Or something like that. And then it's like you walk into the office and it's like cubes from the 90s, right? You're going to sit in a cubicle with padded walls, and it's hilarious, right? It's a meme at this point. But these are the kinds of things that I like. What is the strategy here? And so this is something that came up a while ago for me when I was building the team for digital practice, and it was like, how am I going to attract the right people to this team to do what needs to be done here? And obviously you look inside first, right? But then at some point it's exhausted and you have to go outside. And like I went the route of making a YouTube video, and I made it as fun as I could make it. And I made it interesting, and it explained kind of what we're up to and the trajectory that we were on. And it got great feedback. And I even got to the point where we designed these cool hexagonal shaped cards. We embedded a NFC chip in it, and someone could just hold their phone over it. It pulls up the video. And it was just kind of this cool little calling card idea. And it was like, do something interesting, because that's better, right? Do something interesting. Architects out there who are posting on these job boards, like, you have the ability. And the other brainstorm idea that I was having with our communications director was like, can we write cool narratives to attract people that are just not the typical 80 bullet points of here's the role and responsibilities for this person in our firm? Because I think you could get creative there. I'm just so surprised at the lack of creativity. And maybe it's just because it's often left to somebody in the HR department and they're just boilerplate, cut and paste something from an employee manual or some other company or whatever. And they're not really thinking too critically about it. But I think there's so many other ways that you could actually just be creative and try to actually attract someone into this role, into these roles. Because to your point, like, you can throw a stone and hit, I don't know how many job listings, because there's so many openings. And how does any one of them stand out over another?
Insert your name here is looking for forward-thinking and curious individuals to join our team.
Yeah. Is this a template in Word or something? And just use the mail merge function.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh. So I actually did find an example of one that I thought was really good. And it was on LinkedIn, and it was for a head of data at the Houses of Parliament. Okay. So
interesting.
Yeah, it was like not in the architectural realm at all. And I just thought they're looking for an information officer, which is, going to be in the high tech field of somebody in the, head of data is posting this at the House of Parliament. So, and it was this narrative, and I don't really want to read the whole thing, but it's because it's a little bit long, but it's so good. It's like, set the scene. It's interior hallway, night. You stand in a shadowy corridor of what appears to be a hospital or laboratory. Lighting flickers on and off, ominously, illuminating cabinets and papers scattered in a disarray across the floor. You can hear hurried footsteps and strange muffled shouts echoing through the building. Suddenly, a figure comes rushing through a nearby doorway, a look of sheer terror across their face. You see that they're wearing a tattered lab coat, and their pockets appear to be crammed with IT peripherals, judging from the cables trailing out of the capacious pockets of the coat. You lock eyes, and they run towards you as if possessed by some tormenting demon. They grab onto your shirt with their sweaty hands, panting, and with no sense of personal space, yell into your face, "The information, it's out of control, save yourself." The crazed character tosses you to one side and scarpers off. I have never heard that word, scarpers. Must be a British thing. And you land in a pile of what appears to be old architectural sketches. You reach for the walkie-talkie on your belt. Big data to the librarian. Big data to the librarian. Come in. Do you read me? It's happening again. We need the information officer. Repeat. We need the information officer.
Love it.
Isn't it awesome? Like, it actually goes on a little bit further, but it's just like this is the kind of idea that I discussed and we never took action on with our communications director. It's like, we have the ability to do this. Do we have the time to do this? I don't know. How long does it take to write something interesting like that? I could probably have my 16-year-old do it, and he'd probably do a better job than I would. But like, this is the kind of thing that we have the ability to do, and yet we don't. And instead we say, I'm hiring. Know anyone interested? With zero inspiration, with zero information. It's like, there's nothing compelling there to actually respond to. I can't imagine that post would get anything, any action. But this one, I would just think, well, how many people are just going to share this alone? Like, think about the viral nature of just sharing this job posting because it was not a dull, boring mess, right? It would be fun. Make job posts fun again, architects.
So there's one that I clicked on because it was an interesting name of the company. And so, you click on the careers and it says, we're hiring badasses. Let's create the future together. And so
this is kind of like what I was trying to do in my YouTube video message, right? It's like, I'm looking for, that's exactly it. I love that, because there's going to be people who just automatically like, I'm a badass.
They're like,
you talking to me?
Yeah. Like, about you. You're a modern day MacGyver. You live to solve problems and are able to learn and adapt to change on the fly, consistently looking for the perfect solution for our design challenges. And it's just keeps talking about like all this. You are a systems thinker. Your perfection is in the details. You're a tech nerd at heart. This isn't your first rodeo, blah, 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 blah. So, and then it goes through like the whole, like, your responsibilities. And then it starts to get a little bit, even though it's crafted a little bit better than just, your typical.
They hook you in the intro,
Exactly.
And then they get to the meat, right? Like, they get into the actual bullet points of what you have to do there. Because it's great that there is still some kind of a gate into there, which is like, okay, look, here's what we're really talking about. But we're interesting people, and we're looking for interesting people.
It's like working, I don't know, should I say the name of the company? I don't know. But, it's just like working at Hello Innovation, which is the name of the company. It is more than a job. It is an invitation to reinvent the world as we know it, to go against the grain of what is possible, to rewrite the rules along the way. Every day we get up to challenge ourselves to create products that are sexier, work better, and solve problems.
Yeah. So it's just great that these are not even architectural job listings, because it just shows like the state that we're in.
Yeah.
Pretty sad.
It's like
the two examples that we found of great ways to get someone's attention for a job are not by architecture firms. So if that says anything.
You see, if I don't know if you can pull up just your standard boiler. I think we just talked about the standard boilerplate stuff, but the standard boilerplate stuff is just so like, do you have blah 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 years of experience? And just like
it's either that or we're looking for unicorns who want to work in a fast-paced work environment that's insanely creative, and it's these are not like, creative anymore. These are just,
and you're like,
right.
You're like, wait, didn't I just read that on the last one?
That's exactly it. Anyway, more of a rant than anything, but I think we could do better, right? I think we, as the profession.
Well, especially if we go back to the fact that so many people are hiring. And so how do you distinguish yourself amongst the basically cut and paste world of, like, I have a job. Would you like to come work for me?
Well, okay, so let's actually talk about the real deal here. To me, it's like, what are you going to do if you're at a conference? What are you going to do if are you promoting the culture of your team or your company as you're engaging at conferences? Are you speaking at conferences? Are you going to local AIA meetings? Where do you even go to attract talent rather than just kind of posting on this giant thing called the internet, right? Hoping that that's truly fishing and not catching. There's a huge difference there. And personal connections are I would say, the main way that people find out about and eventually go work for a company. I would assume, I'm totally making that assumption. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I honestly feel like that's the best way. And when I was building the team for digital practice, it was all about me exposing the ideas, the culture, and the ideals, the values of what we were trying to do together. And people can self-align with that or dismiss it, right? But at least there's something there to do that with. And it's linked to me as a person and my integrity and my values, Evan, right? So you can talk to me about it. Whereas if it's just text on a screen, it's just like all the other text on a screen, right? You can scroll right past it. So to me, this was something that I always key into when it comes to the leadership of a company is how involved are they in recruiting and in which ways are they doing that? Because if they're not involved outside of the office in any way, I don't think it's happening. And to me, the leadership has the best ability to attract people, but they usually end up, it's probably 80-20, right? It's probably 80% of the leadership just relies on the younger generations to talk about the cool things that the office does for them, like ping pong tables and picnics and stuff like that.
I have to share this with you. I just clicked on one advertisement for a architectural designer. And essentially, it would, of course, one of the first bullet points is thrives in a high pressure environment. But this one just made me chuckle. Enjoys doing work that requires frequent shifts in direction. Oh, if you just,
Hey,
yeah,
it's honest.
Yeah.
It's honest.
Oh, you drew
Don't
that?
Get used to that.
Yeah.
Don't get used to that.
Oh, you just finished drawing that?
Don't get married to that.
Okay, well, change it.
Get ready. I remember very strongly a friend of the show that I worked with, James Kruger. He actually used to say this to me all the time and you've met him. He used to tell me this, and it just became the running joke. I've probably brought it up on the show before, but there was some crazy project, and it was like kind of said in this reassuring way. Hey, it's when I first started back at HMC, it was like it's not normally like this. And guess what? It was always like that, which speaks to that bullet point on the job listing that you're talking about.
You just hurt my heart. And the reason why is because I basically I just found myself telling somebody that. Because, I know.
You're lying.
Thanks.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. You're going to have to go make a formal apology. Hey, you know how I told you it's not normal? I'm just going to break it to you now. It's always like this. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, more of a rant than anything, but I do think we could do better. So this is a challenge to do better. I would love to see some good job
in
postings,
architecture,
just to read them, because those are the kinds of job postings that I would share. Yeah, in architecture, I would share those out and help, like, increase the reach. If I saw something worth sharing, I would definitely help do that. And I think, to me, that's kind of the name of the game nowadays, right? It's like, there is this very much real relationship side of it and the personal side of it, which I would totally double down on. I think that's actually the best way to find talent. Like, go to the events, go to the conferences, and ask people about themselves, right? So that you can vet if you think they'd be a good fit, and don't look at it as a binary of yes or no. They're either going to come or not. Like, you're going to start building a relationship. You got to date a little bit first, right? So, like, start the conversation with these people, check in on them, catch up with them. Like those are the kinds of things that take quite a long time to actually happen. But if you find the right kind of people, man, like keep in touch with them. And then the other one is the other name of the game that I mentioned is this is the social internet information age. Like this is how you play the game, right? This is, if you want to get your job post in front of a lot of people, like it's not in some weird link on your website that's buried in the HR department. Like it's where the eyeballs are, right? So, and does that mean it's on Glassdoor and LinkedIn? Like it probably means all that, but it also means like getting it something interesting out there so people will share it and get it in front of more people, because one post is like, it's just a scroll on a screen away from being gone. And so how can you get it to be shareable and interesting? These are the kinds of things that I would be thinking of if I was trying to hire.
As you say that, I appreciate the firms who do have like a Twitter or a Instagram presence, because we follow a lot of architects and architecture firms on both. And we're there because, like we like to see the pretty pictures of good architecture. We like to have conversations with people who, produce good architecture. And I've seen on multiple different ones. Like, let me just throw, I'm not going to name any names, but, like some of the well-respected design firms that I follow that I really love when they post, job postings there, because they're quick, they're simple, they do need to like be catchy, right? And so they aren't like, looking for the kind of person who, flourishes in a fast-paced environment. They don't say crap like that. They're kind of teasing you with, the work that they do, the environment that they live in. You can scroll through their feed and see what are they proud of, because, you're proud when you're posting stuff. You're usually posting stuff because you're proud of it, right? And so in these cases, you can scroll through what is this firm proud of? What is this firm about? You can just peek into their world by what they post on Instagram. And yes, we know that people
it's a very curated view into the world.
It's a very curated view, but
at least it's something.
It's a view. And I like the fact that they do their posting on things like that rather than just like, okay, I'm going to put it in LinkedIn, or I'm going to put it on like the local AIA board, or I'm going to go through like job posting services and stuff like that. Go to where people are actually looking.
There's probably a whole business in this. Just somebody who's good at copywriting who could just make a killing in the architectural job posting field, so that they're not all cookie cutter copy paste. I mean, it would be cool to see more of this. So yeah, if they are out there, I want to see them. I would forward those. I would share those out. Anyway,
you're gonna make me start looking for
rabbit hole. Sorry,
I'm gonna start going to like it's gonna be kind of funny. I'm gonna start going to like every firm's like careers page, and we're hiring page and stuff, and see what they are and how they're posting their stuff and what is interesting. And they're going to start looking at my like web browsing the firm. It's going to be like, is there something you want to tell us?
Yeah. We've been watching the IP addresses you've been going to, and we're not excited.
Yeah. All of them happen to be for career pages
on competitors' websites.
Yeah.
Great.
I just want to see how they're trying to attract talent.
Oh, good luck.
See if it's any different than what we're doing.
Yeah, good luck with that. That's going to be a fun conversation.
Well, it'd be a fun search to just find like that unicorn of posting of like who's,
yeah, find the good ones.
Since we're looking for unicorns.
Well, that's it. Rant over. Sorry, a diversion.
And yeah.
Thanks for listening. This show is part of the Gable Media Podcast Network. See all the shows at gablemedia.com. That's GABLMEDIA.com. You can help support what we're doing here by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help get the word out, and don't forget to share it with your friends. We'd love to hear from you, so leave a comment on the website at archispeakpodcast.com, where you can find our entire catalog of shows. Talk to you soon.